I'll probably end up replaying Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl at some point, or trying to. But stuff like Mortier and They're Alive and Stalin Subway, You Are Empty, shit like that are pretty hard to get running on modern stuff. And just like I had the issues with Painkiller, that I really wouldn't say it's solved, because I mean the way the game plays is totally fucked up. But Stalker Shadow Chernobyl, I had the same issues with that. Like 2-3 years ago, I was playing it, and it actually happened while I was playing it, because my computer was all laggy. There was no reason why it seemed like it should be. And then all of a sudden, at one point, Shadow Chernobyl just stopped working. And I had to jump through all these hoops and install patches and bullshit that I didn't have to do before, and finally got it working again. And now I was thinking about that, because it's been a year or two since I last played it, and now I'm wondering if I try launching it, if it'll be fucked up. And it pisses me off, that Painkiller. Maybe it's not Windows. Maybe it really is this like system uptime sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's using that on the basis of the global timer or something. It's just bullshit, where a lot of stuff will be programmed in such a way that, you think that they wouldn't do that. Sort of like with a like Hammer Editor I've mentioned. It's like, why you want to, it's been the thing since Quake 1. Why are you going to hard code these like edict limits and all these other stupid limits? Because like with Splinter Cell and Pandora Tomorrow, they were really, really early shader model 1.0 type shit. And back in the day, the instruction limit at that time, I don't remember which version of shader model. It was shader model 1, but what DirectX version, whatever the fuck it was. But it was only like a shader was limited to like 128 instructions. So I didn't remember that. I read an article about the GeForce 256 or something like that the other day, which is an article from like the year 2000. So now I did remember that in the past, though, like wanting each new DirectX revision because they would increase the instruction limit. But I always thought that it's like, that is, it's like, why put a limit at all, right? Like that is so obviously arbitrary, right? To just push new hardware and this and that. But the problem is there's specific ways old GPUs would do shit. And like, if you have played Splinter Cell 1 or Pandora Tomorrow in the last, almost, it's been like 23 years or 24 years. You played a game with technically fucked up graphics. There are fixes to make it function at all, but it just doesn't look right. And it's just weird that, you have to install I prefer that, but the idea that you have to install a 20-year-old operating system and use, 20-year-old hardware. Because, like, what I had read with Splinter Cell 1 and 2 aka Pandora Tomorrow, they have been fucked up since the GeForce 4 was new. Like, that's how long. Because, like, at a point, it was fixed function, then they went to shader stuff. But shaders are not anything like what anybody thinks they are. They essentially turn GPUs into co-processors. Sort of like the VPUs on the PlayStation 2, right? They're just doing, they're just really a lot. They just, have hot, faster memory with the VRAM. They're better at, floating point operations. But otherwise, they may as well be software mode at this point. But back in the day, stuff being, like right on the edge of that, where stuff was like fixed function and first going to shaders, it's like it's not even an artificial limitation at that point. It's just flat out just broken. Like it's inaccessible how it did it before. And I don't know. I just don't like that, the game preservation stuff, because, they want to, like with the PlayStation 3, how they took out the PS2 chip just so they could sell the HD remakes. And now they're doing that with Delta Force Black Hawk Down. And I only just heard about that in the last day because I was looking up just painkiller speed runs. And then, earlier I was looking up, trying to figure out how to make it run again. Apparently, not only is there an RTX mod or something like that for painkiller, but now apparently they're doing a fucking remake of that. Except it's not a remake, really. It's more like a reboot. And then it's on like Doom 2016's type of engine or something. Like that overlapped because, probably because I was looking at some different, horror games. So I was looking at some Doom 3 related shit. And I seen something about that mentioned in there. I get tired of them wanting to just break all these old games. Anything worth playing's already been made. New gaming is just useless. Nothing's worth a fuck. But I'd rather shit, not have these arbitrary limits because, that's part of the problem, right? Like a lot of these things, they're broken because it was just programmed in there. Now maybe one of these newer patches or something for painkiller will fix the problem. I don't know. But I'm tired of having to fuck with the shit constantly when it was working just fine. But yeah, I've always liked games like that. Um, You Are Empty is one I haven't been able to get working for a long time. The last time I was able to really properly play that fucking game, it was like 2017. And maybe I played it a little bit before, but, like I said, that was on Windows 7. I still have that PC. It's just, not up and running really. I'd have to get parts for it, but, I might seriously go back to that at some point because, if I upgrade to a gaming PC that can't play most of the games I want to play, and it's like I'm not paying for modern shit, then it kind of doesn't matter. But it's just annoying. If I could get Shadow Chernobyl running again, I'm not sure how long that would last. And at this point, the main reason is, my web browsers are taking up so much fucking memory. It's like, what's the point of having 32 gigs of RAM when, dude, like, yeah, granted, I have multiple browsers open, but I don't have that much shit open. And yet, still, either one of them is both taking up like 7 gigs of RAM for no reason. But again, it's like, well, I'm not going to close them all the way because I've got logins. Like, that one website I would upload longer videos to. Well, I don't want to lose the login because who knows if they've changed anything and expect me to jump through more fucking hoops now, or I don't know. There's a lot of fixes hypothetically I could do, but it's like with Hammer. I've got limited space to install stuff. I'm basically, wanting to change as little as possible and not risk breaking shit. But then when I've got basic programs hogging so much fucking memory, like at this point, my memory usage at the lowest I can manage to get it will be hovering around maybe 80%. So that starts to kind of get in the way with some of the newer games. So with Half-Life, Half-Life 2, Painkiller, they're fine. And even with like Fear, Soldier Fortune 2, whatever. But Stalker Shadow Chernobyl is a bit new enough that, the memory usage can start to get limiting on that. You know, maybe there's stuff I could do, but most of the time I just try not to fuck with shit because, it's bad enough like Microsoft fucking up shit. They want to, if they don't just delist the games now, Steam loves to insert silent updates of its own to just take shit out of your video game you paid for. And, you know, so much stuff that I just don't want to risk fucking anything up, and, trying to avoid restarting is the main issue. So, some of these updates. I mean, if Painkiller really has to be restarted, like the computer to restart to work again, then fuck it. Stalker, God, I even installed this like 1.08 or whatever, some bullshit community patch, because I wasn't even running, ZRP on it. I was just running essentially vanilla, but like the latest official patch. But it was so fucked up after some silent update from Microsoft that I had to, like, that was the only thing that worked. And so I don't even know. That's kind of what pisses me off with a lot of this shit. Is like, because I try to have escapism. I try to, I try to escape into the nostalgia, think about some shit that, you know, wouldn't necessarily say makes me feel better, but at least distracts me to some degree. And it's like, fuck, dude, you won't even let me play Painkiller. Dude, I was playing that game the day it was released in 2004. I was obsessed with that game for years, and not many Americans had heard of that game. Yeah, obviously they were aware of it. They were selling it here. But it was one of those games that really wasn't popular until, modern fucking social media bullshit started to take off, and you got these dumbass YouTube reviewers or whatever that just spoon feed motherfuckers all this shit, which is just further devaluing everything. It's all these usurpers that just want to commodify everything. You know how many fucking videos I've seen at this point? Like, I tried watching one of Condemned Criminal Origins the other day, and it was the same thing as the rest of them. They don't fucking do a review. They don't do an analysis. They just sit there and tell you the plot synopsis and then vaguely describe each separate level, and like that's it. And then like it's like a 30-minute video at most, usually. And even on a 15-minute one, they feel a need to put a recap on it, like you forgot 10 minutes ago what they said or something, just to pad the video out to put more ads on it, right? Because all these fucking channels just want to tell you what you want to hear or whatever. And I get tired of this shit. None of them have any new, insights or just anything interesting to say. They don't even just tell you how they feel about the video, to whatever degree of uniqueness that might have to it, right? I mean, uh, if I talk about Painkiller or something, it's like, oh yeah, I'm into Polish grindcore, and here's all these other games I played, or you know, and then I could get off on like Polish grindcore, or like that Suicide Room movie or some bullshit for hours potentially. Well, you see what I'm saying, or maybe you don't give a fuck about that, or maybe you don't want to hear it, but the fact of the matter is there's nothing. They don't put themselves into the video at all. I don't know why it's so difficult to find somebody that, oh yeah, hey, here's this thing, here's all this other stuff it made me think of, and just get like a true insight into someone else's experience, and like why it's meaningful to them, or what made it meaningful, or like whatever the fuck, right? You know, and I don't know, it's just totally cardboard cutout bullshit. And so, if CD Projekt sucks now, well, Polish gaming has sucked forever. I mean, it was motherfuckers that worked on Painkiller that used Hell and Damnation to fuck over their fans like they fuck me over. You buy the game and find out some of the levels from the original they locked behind paid DLC, right? It's like, well, so you expect me to pay full price to not even get the levels that were there in the first place? Fuck you. And like these are what the motherfuckers that worked on the game do. So clearly they never fucking valued anything. So fuck them. So CD Projekt goes under or whatever. Well, that's just how everything fucking works now, doesn't it? And like good old games, it's still all right for the time being. But I mean, they fucking sold it last year, so who knows how long that'll fucking last. And I don't know. I really don't have anything specific to say. You know, I don't know. I'm just all fucking discombobulated right now. So I don't really have any point to these videos other than fucking with painkiller, kind of making me want to talk about it. But whatever, I'll end this video here.